Cersei by Madeline Miller. Cersei is the daughter of Helios, the god of the sun. Helios has many children, and Cersei is labeled as the strangest child among them. Since her family has little interest in her, she finds herself looking for companionship with a mortal. After a series of events, Cersei discovers that she has the power of witchcraft, which can transform others into monsters. Helios goes to Zeus with this information, and Zeus banishes Cersei to a deserted island. On this island, Cersei perfects her witchcraft, tames beasts, and has visitors from several famous figures in Greek mythology. The Pinlapiad by Margaret Atwood. This book retells the story of the Odyssey from the perspective of Penelope and 12 of her maids. For those of you who don't know the Odyssey, I'll give a quick summary. Penelope is the wife of Odysseus, and Odysseus goes off to fight in the Trojan War. Penelope is left alone for 20 years. During this time, Penelope maintains the kingdom of Ithaca, brings up a son, and keeps over 100 suitors at bay. Meanwhile, her husband is facing hardships, fighting monsters, and sleeping with goddesses. When he returns home, he kills all of Penelope's suitors and kills 12 of her maids. In this retelling of the myth, it approaches the question of what Penelope and her maids were up to that caused Odysseus's reaction upon his return. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. In this book, you'll be able to look at the legend of Achilles at a different angle. If you are familiar with his legend, you know that he was the strongest warrior and hero in the Greek army during the Trojan War, and is described to have an unquenchable anger. But in this story, you get to see a romantic side of him. The story is told from the perspective of Patroclus, an awkward young prince who has been exiled to the court of King Peleus and his superhuman son, Achilles. As they grow up into young men, skilled in the arts of war, their friendship grows into something deeper. Then the two men are sent off to the Trojan War, where the years that they spend there will test them. The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. This book also takes place during the Trojan War and shines a light on the women and girls who were affected by it. The story is narrated by Cersei, a princess taken as a slave by Achilles when he took her city and killed her husband and brothers. When she is taken, she must adjust to her new life quickly to survive with the many other women who were taken for the Greek army. Not too long after her capture, a political leader of the Greek forces, Agamemnon, wanted to have Cersei for himself. In protest to this, Achilles decides to no longer fight in the war, causing them to lose ground. In the position that Cersei finds herself in, she is able to observe the horrors of war, how it affected the women around her, while not being able to help them, and see how the actions of Achilles and Agamemnon have an effect on the world. Gods Behaving Badly by Marie Phillips. In this book, you can find the 12 gods of Olympus trying to get by in the 21st century, living like mortals. They all live in a London townhouse together and have jobs, and their powers are slowly fading. One day, a small fight between Aphrodite and Apollo escalates into a battle, and two ordinary humans are caught in the crossfires Alice and Neil. These two must perform an act of true heroism in order to save humankind. Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. This book contains a retelling of several stories from Norse mythology. It starts with the birth of the universe to the twilight of the gods. In each tale, you'll learn more about Norse gods and are a step closer to Ragnarok. In Norse mythology, Ragnarok is a colossal battle between gods and giants, and it's said that some of the gods and the world will meet their end. But the myth also tells of the world being reborn with the surviving gods. The Gospel of Loki by Joanne Harris. This story is about the rise and fall of the Norse gods, told through the eyes of Loki. Loki is a Norse god himself, but he was born from a demon, making the other gods feel like Loki is untrustworthy, and therefore the gods will never accept him as one of their own. Since this is how the gods view him, Loki feels like he needs to have revenge. So throughout this book, you'll see how Loki was recruited by Odin from the realm of chaos to his life in Asgard, and the actions that lead up to Ragnarok.